Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take a stack of fascinating sources and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight.
Think of it as your shortcut to becoming incredibly well-informed, maybe with some surprising facts and just enough humor to keep you hooked.
And today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a concept that is, well, both ancient and profoundly relevant to our modern lives.
Yeah.
Discipline and self-mastery.
Yeah, we'll explore why this isn't just about harsh rules or, rigid self-denial, but actually about unlocking genuine freedom and achieving your deepest potential.
Our source material today is a powerful work. It weaves together philosophy, history, and some really deeply personal anecdotes, showing us how true mastery begins not in conquering others, but really within ourselves.
Right.
So our mission is to unpack the timeless wisdom of temperance, reveal its often hidden power, and see how you can apply these principles to forge your own destiny, starting right where you are.
And we'll look at some incredible figures from history, won't we? From ancient philosophers to modern leaders and athletes, to understand not just what discipline is, but why it matters so much in every facet of life. Your health, your habits, financial freedom, emotional composure,
Yeah.
everything.
So what truly stands out to you as we begin to dive into such a profound and, frankly, timeless topic?
That's a great question. What struck me immediately, and what our source so brilliantly highlights right from the very start, is that this isn't some dry academic thing.
Right.
Confined to dusty books, it's fundamentally about choice. It's this dilemma as old as time itself, faced by heroes and, well, ordinary people just like us.
And that's captured perfectly in the opening, isn't it? With one of the most classic myths. Hercules at that tranquil intersection of the hills of Greece. Imagine him there, a strong, budding hero, just poised at a crossroads. The sources describe how this very moment has echoed through history.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Captured in everything from Socrates' philosophical discussions to beautiful Renaissance art, even inspired a Bach cantata, and was almost immortalized on the official seal of the United States.
Yeah.
It's just this universal symbol, as real and transformational as any choice we might face ourselves.
Absolutely. What was his dilemma, though? The source says he didn't know where he was going, or even where he truly wanted to go.
That feels familiar, doesn't it?
It really does. So as the path splits, he meets this goddess, right? Adorned in elegant clothes.
Yeah, promising him an easy life, free from need, fear, pain, all desires satisfied effortlessly, the path of least resistance.
What's fascinating here, though, is how the source emphasizes this isn't just some ancient legend. It's really a story about us.
Our dilemma.
Our daily crossroads. Exactly. This isn't a one-time grand decision. It's a continuous challenge we face over and over, day in, day out, in, countless small ways.
Like choosing vice or virtue.
Right. Or just the easy way versus the right way. Every choice, big or small, indulge or exert control, be selfish or selfless, brave or fearful, strong or weak, wise or foolish.
Each one is a tiny crossroads.
Precisely. Will we build a good habit or give in to a bad one? Stick with what's comfy or push ourselves to evolve? This myth just sets the stage perfectly, reminding us life is a series of these choices.
So this deep dive then places temperance within that broader context of the four fundamental virtues, showing how they're all interconnected. The source defines these as courage. That's valor, fortitude, honor, sacrifice.
Right.
Then temperance, self-control, moderation, composure, balance, justice, impartiality, service, kindness, and finally, wisdom, knowledge, truth, introspection, peace.
And they're not isolated, are they? They're depicted as interlinked, inseparable. The source points out, like, courage without justice. It's pointless.
Or even dangerous.
Yeah, recklessness, tyranny maybe, just strength without a moral compass. And discipline or temperance is impossible without the wisdom to choose correctly.
To know what to be disciplined about.
Exactly. For what purpose? They function like an internal compass. That's why they're called cardinal virtues, like the points on a compass.
North, south, east, west.
Right. Guiding us, showing us where we are and what is true. John Steinbeck, quoted in our source, captured it perfectly. He described these virtues as qualities agreeable and desirable for who possesses them.
And that make him perform acts of which he can be proud and content.
Beautifully put. And it profoundly underscores that virtue is universal. It's not masculine nor feminine, only was.
It just is.
It just is. Applies to everyone, regardless of background, strength, whatever. They're simply the bedrock of a well-lived life.
So the source quickly zooms in on self-discipline, defining it as the core, like the active muscle of this virtue of temperance. It kicks off with a really powerful Epictetus quote.
Which one's that?
There are two words we must take seriously and obey when we strive for good and abstain from evil. Persist and resist.
Ah, persist and resist. That brings us to a crucial point. What does this really mean? What does it entail?
Yeah.
The source explains temperance through all these ancient words, right? Each adds a layer, like the Latin temperantia, proper mixing, balance, moderatio, restraint.
And the Greek ones.
Enkrateia, sheer self-mastery, like command over impulses. And sophrosipes, which isn't just control, but sound-mindedness, wisdom, prudence.
It's broader.
Much broader.
Yeah.
And then you have concepts from Eastern philosophies like tanha in Buddhism, craving as the source of suffering, needing release. This whole rich tapestry across cultures just underscores it as an eternal law of the universe.
You have to maintain control.
Or risk ruin, imbalance, dysfunction, dependence. Not all problems come from having too much, obviously, but everyone benefits from self-discipline. And for those starting with less or facing huge challenges, they need even more discipline just to have a shot.
Okay, now the source makes a really provocative statement here. It claims self-discipline is even more important than courage. What's the thinking there?
It challenges how we usually think, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And this is where the deeper insight really comes in. The source argues that courage, often involves a single heroic act, maybe a moment in time.
Right. But self-discipline, that's the consistent, daily, often totally invisible effort that enables all the other virtues. It's the grunt work.
So it's the ability to work hard, say no, build good habits, set limits.
Even when no one's watching. Exactly. It means training, preparing for years sometimes, overlooking temptations, provocations, keeping emotions in check when everything's hitting the fan.
And enduring difficulties not just once, but again and again.
Yeah. It's giving everything you have while also knowing what to hold back, what to conserve for the long game. Without that daily, quiet discipline, maybe real courage never gets built, or it just flares up once and burns out.
So it's not about privation, just denying yourself things.
Not at all. It's about holistic self-mastery, physical, mental, spiritual, demanding the best from yourself, even when no one is looking, when it is not necessary, because that's where character is truly forged.
Right.
And this virtue, it's presented as both predictive and deterministic. It makes success way more likely because you're consistently doing the work.
But it also ensures a kind of greatness regardless of the outcome.
Exactly, because you've mastered yourself. Conversely, a lack of discipline, that puts you in danger and largely determines who you are. Think about Eisenhower, who we'll talk about more. His mother told him young, "It is better to be patient than brave, to master yourself than to conquer cities."
And he went on to lead the Allies.
Literally conquering, but only by conquering himself first, mastering that famous temper. Like a charioteer controlling wild horses, discipline gives you the reins to navigate life without crashing.
Okay, let's dive into that physical command aspect.
Right.
Our source starts with the body itself, quoting Martha Graham, calling it our glory, our obstacle, and our responsibility.
It points out that ancient traditions, Stoicism, Roman practices, they all pushed for resistance, frugal diets, reasonable use of stuff, not for deprivation's sake.
But to build inner strength.
Resilience, exactly, for life's inevitable bumps. The core idea is simple. If we don't master ourselves physically, something else will. Laziness, adversity, entropy, they'll dominate us.
And to illustrate this, the source gives us the incredible story of Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse.
It's astonishing.
He played 2,130 consecutive games. Think about that streak. Spanning the Roaring '20s, the Depression. His stats alone are mind-boggling.
Yeah. .340 average, almost 500 homers, 23 Grand Slams, Triple Crown winner.
One of the greatest teammates ever. But the source reveals the cost. X-rays showed at least 17 healed fractures in his hands, broke almost every finger.
Unbelievable. And yet,
He never slowed down, never complained. He built that inner strength to just ignore the voice telling him to quit, choosing self-control when others coasted. He knew comfort was the enemy.
even after getting knocked out by a pitch that fractured his skull.
He was back batting the next day, hit a triple, and his ultimate act of self-control, choosing to leave the game when he knew it was becoming a burden, incredible judgment even then.
Wow. Now, contrast that with Theodore Roosevelt's early life.
Right, born incredibly weak, poor eyesight, debilitating asthma that almost killed him, often stuck indoors.
Yet, with his father's push and this fierce will, he started exercising rigorously.
He literally remade himself physically and transformed his life. That was his strenuous life, action activity, constant physical challenge.
Pushed himself even when injured, right. Lost sight in one eye boxing while president.
Yeah. The source compares his life favorably to uh, lazy King George V, whose life was all self-indulgence, often hospitalized from too many sodas and hot dogs.
It really raises a powerful question for us, doesn't it? What kind of life are you choosing?
Hmm.
The source challenges us. We're described as alpha predators, these peculiar elite products of millions of years of evolution, with these amazing bodies and minds.
And then it asks,
How will you choose to spend this reward? Will you let your assets atrophy? Exercise, it notes, is this unique space where the only real obstacles are your own determination and commitment.
it's a daily victory you can control.
A reliable way to build willpower when most people just don't.
Roosevelt, despite his challenges, pushed through, never accepting less than his best. He shaped his body, and through that, his character. A real testament to deliberate physical discipline. Okay, so from the physical battles, the discussion shifts inward to the habits that can, slowly enslave us. And the source has this incredibly powerful story about Dwight Eisenhower. At 58, after smoking 3 or 4 packs a day for 38 years,
30 years.
he quit. Cold turkey. His biographers noted his immense willpower. His reason, simple. The only way to stop is to stop. He saw it as his duty to himself.
And that self-conquest, likely added years, allowed him to serve as NATO head, then president. It showed he controlled himself so he could control things around him.
What's fascinating here is that idea that freedom is the opportunity for self-discipline. Or the flip side.
Freedom is the freedom to abstain.
Yeah.
The source highlights this universal thing. We often voluntarily give ourselves over to habits that whisper or shout, the only thing you need is more of me.
We become dependent.
Feel unhappy, hungry, lonely, weak without them. Seneca asked centuries ago, show me a man who is not a slave. We can be slaves to sex, money, ambition, hope, fear.
And the source mentions the Buddhist concept of tanha.
Right, thirst or craving as the source of suffering. It emphasizes it doesn't matter if the habit is socially acceptable. What matters is it good for you? Is it serving your highest self or slowly eating away your autonomy?
The source then hits us with this really provocative test.
Yeah, this is designed to cut through our excuses. If alcohol or social media were invented today, knowing all the risks, the time suck, the mental health stuff, would you choose to start?
Oof. Or if you knew success would lead to divorce and misery, would you still chase it?
It hammers home a key point. Just because you started something doesn't mean you have to keep doing it.
And it uses examples like Amy Winehouse, Tiger Woods.
Tragic examples of brilliant people annihilated by the parasite that inhabited them. And the cost isn't just personal, is it? It's shared. It's symphonies never written, feats never accomplished, in good never done. The world loses out.
So the message is stark. No matter the habit, smoking, doom scrolling, overeating, whatever distraction you have to stop if it's costing you your freedom.
And it's never too late. Eisenhower quit at 58, fundamentally changed his health, his service. The choice is yours. Slave or free, save yourself, and maybe put yourself in a position to actually help the world.
Okay, so after ditching bad habits, the next step in self-mastery, according to the source, is simplifying, cutting away the unnecessary.
Exemplified by figures like Cato the Elder.
The Roman statesman, famous for his, legendary frugality, wore clothes costing a few coins, drank the same simple wine as his slaves, bought food in public markets.
Actively rejecting high society's luxuries, his motto was clear. Nothing is cheap if it is superfluous. If he didn't truly need it, he didn't buy it. And crucially...
He didn't care what others thought.
Exactly. And the purpose wasn't just being cheap, it was independence. Profound independence. There's that story of Manius Curius, the great conqueror.
Cooking turnips.
Yeah. By envoys trying to bribe him. His simplicity made him incorruptible. He didn't want their gold. It highlights that critical insight. When we desire more than we need, we become vulnerable.
We open ourselves up to pressure, being bought.
Being influenced. A Spartan king, asked what his subjects got from their Spartan habits, replied, "What we reap from this way of life is freedom. Freedom from needing. Freedom from manipulation."
The source also mentions Reuben Hurricane Carter in prison.
Compelling story. He survived nearly 19 years of unjust incarceration by consciously stripping away basic comforts, pillows, radio, TV, so nothing could be taken from him.
Gave the guards no leverage.
If you're tough on yourself, content from within, others have less power over you. Michelangelo, though not austere like Cato, rejected rich patrons' gifts because he didn't want to owe anyone anything. He knew true wealth was autonomy.
The freedom to create, say no.
Be beholden only to his vision.
Yeah.
So living below your means, being disciplined with desires, it grants huge freedom, much more than being stuck in debt or chasing the next thing.
The source challenges that modern idea that you can't live without the latest gadget or luxury.
Stating bluntly, they are stronger than you. It urges you to think back when you had less. Weren't those times often happier, simpler, clearer, before you knew you needed all this stuff?
Yeah. The truth is, the less you desire, the richer, freer, and more powerful you become. That's the path to real self-possession.
Okay, next up, how external order translates directly to internal calm and efficiency. The source talks about Robert Moses, the planner who shaped so much of modern New York City. His achievements were staggering.
Millions of acres of green space, hundreds of playgrounds, miles of parkways, bridges, tunnels, stadiums.
Biographers compare his work not just to other cities, but to entire civilizations.
And the source reveals a key to his insane productivity was his meticulously organized desk and office.
Really?
Yeah. It highlights Gretchen Rubin's idea, outer order, inner calm. The insight is, to think and work well, get clarity, you first have to take a look and clean up your physical space.
Toni Morrison said something similar, didn't she? Needing that ideal, quiet, ordered room.
Absolutely. The source argues compellingly for very few jobs is the answer to, when are you at your best ever? When I'm drowning in paperwork and dirty dishes. Right. Almost always, order helps. Gym, workshop, studio, command center. Order enables better performance, clearer thinking.
And remember, Coach John Wooden's ritual, absolute stickler for fundamentals.
Teaching star players how to put on socks and shoes.
Every single time. To prevent blisters that could lead to injuries, losses, it illustrates that greatness is in the details, even the tiny ones no one sees.
Epictetus asked, does anything improve with lack of attention? Of course not.
And that old proverb about the lost nail, leading to a lost horseshoe, horse rider, message, battle, kingdom,
emphasizes how neglecting small things can lead to total collapse. The discipline of order is like a shield.
So the actionable advice is refreshingly simple. Clean your desk, make your bed, put your things in order.
And then go after what you want. Lay the foundation first. That simple act of ordering your space is a powerful first step to ordering your mind and life.
Okay, now this section reveals that brilliance isn't always about innate genius or some flash of inspiration.
But about something more common, often less respected.
Consistent presence, exactly. The source attributes Thomas Edison's amazing output not merely to his mind, but his relentless consistency. Edison himself famously said, "I have no imagination, I have created nothing."
Implying his genius was in the work ethic.
The sheer, unyielding effort. The important thing is that you do something every day, as Arnold Schwarzenegger advised. Another master of consistency.
Every aspect of life benefits from just showing up.
The true power is showing up when you're tired, when you don't have to be there, even if you have an excuse, even if you're busy, even if you don't get credit, even if it's been kicking your butt lately.
Why is that so powerful?
Because once you do something, no matter how small, you can build on it. Once you start, momentum grows. And precisely because it's hard, often mundane, unglamorous, most people don't do it.
Giving you a huge advantage.
A compounding advantage. Let's go back to Lou Gehrig's streak. His success wasn't just being good. It was that he didn't miss almost any day of work. He battled physical pain, sure, but also the mental grind, boredom, self-doubt.
There was that scout's advice to young Gehrig.
Crucial advice. The most important thing a young player can learn is that you can't be good every day. You have to be there every day.
And the source connects this to Steinbeck writing East of Eden.
Yeah, those lost days, the agonizing discipline to show up at the typewriter, even when it felt like a disaster, words weren't flowing, distractions called. You just can't achieve greatness or even competence without the discipline to consistently show up and do the work day after day.
So consistency really is a superpower.
Truly. Most people just don't do it when faced with the daily grind. Gives you an immense, almost unfair edge. You're often alone on the path, walking in the rain, the only one responding on Christmas, while others seek comfort.
Don't worry about breaking records.
Just show up, because it's your duty what the work demands. And paradoxically, it's that unglamorous, consistent commitment that leads to records being broken, breakthroughs happening, mastery emerging.
Okay, so if showing up is step one, then step two is practicing relentlessly.
The continuous refinement. Our source talks about those intense Japanese swordsmen. Nakayama Hakudo, 2,000 sword draws a day, even 10,000 in a 24-hour session.
Wow. And Musashi's motto.
Chotan Sekirin, training morning to night. For a samurai, good enough wasn't an option. It could mean death.
Bill Bradley, the basketball player known for his work ethic, said something similar.
Yeah. When you are not practicing, perfecting, and working, someone somewhere is doing it, and when you meet him, he will beat you. Universal truth.
And this relentless practice builds strength, self-confidence.
Absolutely. Your body might burn, your mind might ache, but from that heat, that friction, comes true power. Not just for the specific task, but for life. Pablo Casals, the legendary cellist,
Practiced tirelessly even when he was considered a master.
into old age, because he genuinely believed he was still advancing. The source argues advancing and practicing are basically synonyms. You can't have one without the other. You don't just become good, you practice being good.
And the source gives other examples.
Florence Nightingale saw nursing as an art needing preparation as hard as the work of any painter or sculptor. Churchill spent nights practicing his improvised speeches. Joyce Carol Oates writes daily for hours, calls it torture.
But finds not writing even worse torture.
Exactly. The source uses lovely analogies. The husky nervous without its harness, the horse wanting to trot. It's not external compulsion, it's inner drive. When you find your calling, commit to it. You do it. Not because you have to, but because it's who you are.
And here's the twist. The reward isn't necessarily external stuff, prizes, bestseller lists.
According to the source, the reward is the work itself. It's joy, torture, and also heaven, sweaty and wonderful salvation.
That's how huge amounts of work get done, not grudgingly, but with love for the craft, the process.
Yeah. As the Stoics remind us, the ultimate discipline is decide who you want to be, and then do that work. The work becomes the path and the reward.
Okay, moving into mastering time. If discipline is showing up, it matters when and how you show up. Especially early. Our source highlights Toni Morrison's ritual. Waking early, silently, coffee, sitting down to write between the end of darkness and the beginning of dawn.
Which wasn't just practical for her single mom, full-time editor.
But also spiritual. A sacred time of self-security, clarity, before the day's demands hit.
And the source makes that bold claim. No one is a morning person by default. Yet, it argues morning offers this unique freedom.
Hemingway noted it's when nobody bothers, and it's cool or cold.
Right, lets you warm up as you work, uninterrupted. Morrison found her mind fresh then, knew she wasn't sharp after sunset. It's not just about productivity, it's seizing your peak willpower hours.
CEOs hit the gym early to build discipline.
Coaches arrive first to get ahead. Morning is when you grab the advantage, make progress while others sleep, establish momentum.
The source even takes us inside Marcus Aurelius' head. That timeless struggle.
Yeah, debating leaving his warm bed. Was I born for this? To stay curled up in the warmth of the blankets, then challenging himself and us to look at nature.
Plants, birds, ants, spiders, bees, doing their tasks, setting the world in order.
And asking point blank, and are you not willing to do your work as a human being? Why don't you rush to do what your nature demands? Powerful stuff.
Yet here we are, 2,000 years later, still hitting snooze, clinging to comfort, wasting those powerful hours.
The source reminds us, remember where you come from, the traditions, what is at stake, your potential, purpose, contribution. It urges finding joy just in being awake, having the chance to do what you love.
To truly live that disciplined life.
You got to seize that hour before dawn while no one is looking. That's where battles are won, quietly, before the world wakes up.
All right, a key discipline, maybe one of the hardest in our hyper-connected world.
Yeah.
Not just what you say yes to, but what you say no to.
Crucial.
The source points to Booker T. Washington's incredible discipline here. Founder of Tuskegee, traveler, speaker, lobbyist, author.
Achieved so much. How? By the discipline of saying the dreaded word, no. He said, the number of people who are ready to consume your time for no purpose is almost innumerable.
Wow. Which leads to the key question. What is most important to you? Without knowing that clearly, you literally can't know what to say yes or no to.
You just react, improvise.
Exactly. Vulnerable to every shiny and exciting thing, every opportunity, every just a minute someone demands. Montaigne, the Stoic, said, if you don't know your destination, no wind is favorable. Every distraction can blow you off course.
So you need the discipline to step back, think about priorities.
Your most important contribution. And once that's clear, it lets you overlook almost everything else. Booker T. Washington's goal, educating black men and women at Tuskegee, gave him absolute clarity, urgency.
So he could reject anything else.
His no wasn't rejecting people, it was affirming his purpose, fiercely.
John Steinbeck wondered how people did good, lasting work while juggling everything else: social life, finances, networking? And the source answers bluntly, they don't.
Yeah.
It argues it's impossible to commit deeply without the discipline to say no to the superfluous.
Like what?
Excessive interviews, constant social media, glamorous dinners, exotic travel, tempting side hustles, chasing trends, they all have hidden costs. They demand your most limited resources, time and mental energy.
And the secret to success is revealed as...
Deceptively simple. Large blocks of uninterrupted time.
So remember this. Everything you say yes to means saying no to something else.
Powerful truth. When someone takes just a few minutes for something unimportant, they're not just stealing from you. They're stealing from your family, your cause, your future, your real work.
And the source says you are the thief when you agree to unimportant things.
Or commit to too much, yeah. The disciplined part of you learns to say, better not. It's your life, your power, your purpose demands that fierce guard.
Okay, so after saying no strategically, the next step is that deep, unwavering yes to what matters, unyielding focus.
The source brings up Beethoven again, legendary concentration.
Would literally suddenly disappear mid-conversation, even with loved ones or patrons.
Completely consumed by a musical idea, as if in a trance. Instant, profound, total focus.
And in today's world, with constant distractions, phones, multitasking, fatigue, endless entertainment,
focus is a superpower. People claim to be focused, but their attention is fragmented. A symphony isn't written in a flash. It requires hours, days, months, or years of prolonged and exclusive dedication.
a marathon of mental effort.
Totally. Beethoven's deafness went unnoticed by friends for years because they just assumed he was disconnected from the world, concentrating like he always did, absorbed in his inner musical world.
Other example.
Goethe was an expert at overlooking things, filtering noise. Joni Ive at Apple said, "Focusing isn't something you aspire to. It's something you do every minute."
And Steve Jobs asked employees, what are you focused on?
And how many things have you said no to? Highlighting that focusing on one thing demands not focusing on others. It's an active, continuous choice.
Epictetus had that stern warning about procrastination.
Yeah, saying I'll get serious tomorrow or I'll focus later is really saying, today I will be shameless, immature, and vulgar. Declaring you're weak, easily annoyed, lacking discipline now.
Ouch.
So the message is clear. If it's worth doing, it's worth concentrating on today, it's worth focusing on now.
The source reminds us, like Beethoven, none of us knows how many good years or faculties we have left.
Got to use them while we can. Cultivate that power of total commitment. That focus is your greatest asset.
All right, now let's turn to a crucial part of temperance. Restraint from too much. Understanding that excessive pleasure is fleeting often turns sour.
Yeah, back to Babe Ruth. Legendary greatness, but also legendary excess. Hospitalized for too many soft drinks and hot dogs.
His indulgences were fun while he devoured, but the aftertaste was bitter, led to poor health, inconsistent performance.
Even he told the disciplined Garrick, don't be a fool, stay in shape, don't get soft.
So the source implicitly asks, what greatness did Ruth leave on the table?
How much more could he have done if discipline matched talent? It makes a strong case. The pleasure of excess is always fleeting. True self-discipline is not rejecting pleasure, but a way of accepting it sustainably.
Quoting Epicurus.
Who defined true pleasure not as gluttony or endless parties, but the absence of pain in the body and trouble in the mind, achieved through sober reasoning, considering long-term effects, not just instant gratification.
King George V's gluttony is the counterexample.
Bloated, diseased, shortened life, a daily nightmare. A stark contrast to Epicurus. We practice self-discipline not because excess is a sin, morally,
But because we want to avoid an infernal existence while we are alive, a hell created by ourselves. It's pragmatic.
The Stoics' banquet metaphor illustrates it beautifully. Take a moderate portion, don't grasp greedily at what passes, don't burn with desire for what hasn't arrived.
If it hasn't reached you, wait. Maybe it's not for you.
That restraint allows real appreciation, prevents the backlash of overdoing it.
Churchill's quip about alcohol. I've gotten more out of alcohol than alcohol has taken from me.
Clever line, but the source uses it to urge us to consider the true cost of our own indulgences.
Yeah.
What they take, how they age us, the regret, tight pants, haggard look, self-loathing.
The strength lies in knowing when to rise from the table before the point of self-hatred.
Requires self-knowledge, self-control, real courage. Especially if others want the party to keep going. It's about avoiding future regret while still enjoying things moderately. A delicate balance. That's temperance.
Now for a counterintuitive aspect of discipline, knowing when to stop. the discipline of rest.
Super important, often overlooked.
In 2012, NBA coach Greg Popovich, a master strategist, made a controversial call. Rested 4 stars for a nationally televised game.
Got fined $250,000. Widespread criticism. But his reasoning was simple, strategic. It was the most sensible decision, not the most popular.
Load management.
Exactly. The logic is simple. Exhaustion and injuries are more expensive than time off. While discipline often means pushing harder, sometimes the most difficult choice, the greatest exercise of control, is to rest.
It's negotiating short-term urges versus long-term consequences.
Right. The urge to push harder versus burnout and injury. John Steinbeck called working too much the indiscipline, the falsest of economies. It's a common trap, thinking more work is always better.
When it can be self-destruction.
Yeah. Skipping a workout and overtraining both lead to diminishing returns, just from opposite directions.
The tragic story of James Forrestal illustrates this.
Oh.
First U.S. Secretary of Defense.
Literally worked himself to death, pushed relentlessly, even as he lost weight, turned yellow, spiraled into depression, paranoia, died by suicide.
Leaving behind those haunting lines from Sophocles about being consumed by lost time.
A stark warning against unchecked workaholism. His lack of discipline around rest cost him everything.
The truth is, you're in this for life, not just one project or career phase. Nobody's invincible.
Nobody can advance constantly without consequence. Even iron breaks under stress. Do you want to be a shell of what you once were years from now, full of regret?
To last, achieve greatness long term, you have to learn to rest, relax, have fun.
The source warns, the surest way to make yourself more fragile and shorten your career is to be undisciplined with rest. Learn to manage the load for a lifetime.
Building on rest, the source presents sleep not as a luxury, but a critical discipline, the foundation of performance.
Absolutely. Floyd Patterson, 1956, before fighting Archie Moore for the title.
Did the most important training the night before,
Uh.
slept 11.5 hours, then napped for 3 hours, then dozed in the locker room.
Then knocked out the exhausted champion in the 5th round. His discipline with sleep gave him a clear edge.
When facing intense challenges, ring, boardroom, battlefield, you need rest.
Admiral James Stavridis, commanding a ship in the 90s, innovated by treating sleep as important as its weapons. He knew fatigued people make worse decisions, work poorly together, have less self-control.
He understood sleep begets sleep.
And powerfully, discipline begets discipline. Being disciplined about rest enhances discipline everywhere else.
The source challenges that idea of not being a morning person, suggesting it often stems from undisciplined nights.
Right. The path to excellence is forged by consistently, reasonably, and without delay getting into the sheets. Allows better performance when you do jump out of bed, fully charged.
The challenge isn't making things easy.
But being prepared for them to be difficult. Having the fortitude. Your rest is your strength. Discipline and sleep is preparation for life's demands.
Okay, shifting from physical discipline to the even trickier mastery of emotions. The source tells a compelling story. William Thalmer, wealthy Jewish store owner in the segregated South, 1950s, endured racist, demeaning treatment buying land.
Remained silent, composed, absorbed insults without reacting, achieved his goal, his reason. I came here to buy that land. Now it belongs to me, not to him.
Fighting back would have cost him the land, maybe jail, given the bigot control.
Exactly. It highlights that immense capacity to disregard, endure, and forget not just overt insults, but also unintended slights and mistakes from people we care about.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg's mother-in-law's advice. It helps to be a little deaf.
Simple, but profound. Guided RBG through 56 years of marriage, 27 on the Supreme Court, allowed deep friendships even with ideological opposites like Scalia, her best friend. It's about not letting every little thing derail you.
The source also gives the cautionary tale of Sam Cassell.
Ah, the NBA player. Made a crucial shot in the 2004 playoffs, did that celebratory big balls dance.
Mild madness, the source calls it.
Led directly to a hip fracture, sidelined him, cost his team the championship, momentary lack of emotional control, devastating physical results.
The source notes how many regrets, errors, embarrassing moments.
Have something in common. Someone lost control of their emotions. Lists MLK's infidelity, Truman's angry letters, passion overcoming reason. Even disciplined people stumble emotionally.
John Wooden wanted passion to a minimum for his team, saw it as unviable and dangerous fuel.
Wanted intensity, focus, and absolute self-mastery, calm, controlled energy. The actionable advice: slow down, think well.
Intervene before the impulse acts. Anxiety, aggression, desire, celebration.
Create that pause. Queen Elizabeth II demonstrated it. Philip agitated. She calmly pointed out the pottery, even if there wasn't any, diverting his anger, letting him regain composure.
This leads to the discipline of silence, too.
Spartans were laconic, spoke only what was necessary. Powerful people impress and intimidate by their brevity. Don't speak just to speak.
Guard secrets, bite your tongue, let others deliver bad news, endure misunderstanding.
Trust actions speak louder. Zeno, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Let your work speak. Better thought foolish silently than speaking and removing doubt.
Sometimes the hardest discipline isn't acting, but waiting. Strategic patience.
Churchill's wartime restraint. Summer 1940, France falling fast.
Immense pressure to send vital British planes to help, despite his ambition, fury against Nazism.
He found the serenity, the strength to refuse, reserved those planes for the Battle of Britain, knew they were the last line of defense. History proved him right.
Then endured criticism for almost 2 years, delaying the Allied invasion.
Knowing troops needed more time, training, resources, grace under pressure, Hemingway called it. A masterful exercise of self-control and will.
It requires enduring criticism, trusting your judgment when everyone pushes for action.
A leader who can't do that is not a leader, he is a follower. Swayed by opinion, urgency. The source quotes, "the fury of the patient man."
A paradox.
Churchill was furious, a man of action, but under the gentle and serene light of strategic genius, he waited. He did not attack prematurely, and when he did, he annihilated his target. Patience as a weapon.
Your own motivation, FOMO, pressure from others, they all push you to act.
But to endure the pressure, resist the impulse, requires great mental discipline. Sometimes the most strategic signal is wait, not advance. You often get one chance.
Are you strong enough, disciplined enough to wait for it, prepare, make it count?
Heavy questions.
Okay, part 4. This deep dive shows how even ambition, seemingly positive, can become destructive if unchecked.
Yeah, the source shares a chilling warning from young Napoleon, 22 years old, wrote about Alexander the Great, Cromwell.
Describing them as impatient, losing judgment, tormented by all the daggers of the Furies, consumed by their own drive.
Alexander conquered the world, died young, empire crumbled. Juvenal said, the world was not big enough to contain Alexander, but in the end, a coffin was enough. The source declares, of all the addictions, the most toxic and difficult to control is ambition. Society rewards it, making it harder to see its dark side.
People ask how successful people did things, not why.
Right. The source suggests, maybe controversially, many successful people are actually unhappy. And their ambition makes others miserable too. Enslaved to craving more recognition, power, just like other addictions, despite appearances.
The analysis asks, who is in charge, our mind or our slavish need to be the greatest?
And then pragmatically, what does this actually bring me? Napoleon's achievements were huge, but didn't bring happiness. Died alone in exile, prisoner of his ambition.
The source challenges the idea we need endless achievements to feel good.
What you truly need is surprisingly simple. Not much. A little food and water, a challenging job, a serene mind in adversity, a well-established routine, a cause you are committed to, something you are improving at.
Everything else is.
An extra, a bonus, or worse, the source of our painful downfall, pulling us from what matters, leading to emptiness. Moderating ambition is crucial self-discipline.
Continuing the theme of moderating desires, let's look at money. How we earn, spend, let it impact us.
Babe Ruth again. Earned fortunes, squandered it all. Sports cars, custom suits, diamonds, casinos, parties.
Often starts spring training borrowing from teammates. A manager said he had no idea how to manage money.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, literary genius, died broke, writing just to keep creditors away. Love for his craft destroyed by undisciplined spending pressure.
The insight is, when financial decisions cause constant worry, you're not truly rich, no matter the income.
Right. Churchill, despite huge talent, struggled with chronic debt his whole life. Source suggests it was an attempt to buy the love and fun he'd missed. His energy wasted keeping up socially instead of just honest work.
The trap of financial excess is pervasive.
The problem comes when people spend what they don't have to get what they don't need at a price that isn't even worth it. The source notes wisely, money doesn't buy happiness, but
it can certainly free you from some frustrations. Daily worries, limits.
But it's problematic if it makes you dependent on things you don't need or leads you to think wealth solves everything instead of addressing internal stuff.
And discipline with money isn't just about avoiding reckless spending.
No, it's also avoiding stinginess on small things while being wasteful on important ones. Don't let saving pennies cost you precious time or relationships. False economy.
Ultimately, money's a tool. Neither good nor bad.
If it gives freedom, influence, great. If it becomes an addiction, distraction, drives every choice, not good. The idea of reaching a point you don't worry about money, a chimera, a fantasy.
You'll always face financial challenges.
Unexpected expenses, investment desires. True freedom isn't endless wealth, but being less dependent on money, having enough to say no thank you to anything against your values, sticking to what's primary.
Okay, this next part highlights the discipline isn't about static perfection, but constant progress.
Socrates claimed not to know much, but was certain. We cannot stay as we are. No one's as good as they could be. Everyone can improve.
Tom Brady, greatest quarterback,
Yeah.
won Super Bowls, youngest and oldest.
Wasn't obsessed with winning as much as obsessed with improving. Focused relentlessly on slightly better precision, faster release, not willing to stay the same, even at the top.
That's Kaizen.
The Japanese concept of continuous improvement, always finding something, however small, to work on, gradual progress, never satisfied with the status quo. Revolution is for amateurs, pros seek evolution.
The cumulative effect of small improvements.
Yields one of the most powerful forces on Earth. The analysis notes, to err is human, but to err less each day brings us closer to the divine. Constantly raising standards, never stagnating.
Leads to greater achievement, but also deeper satisfaction.
Reaching heights otherwise impossible. Epictetus, former slave, endured immense hardship, declared, "While some enjoy improving their farm and others their horse, I enjoy improving myself day by day."
That discipline gave him focus, control in dark times, prevented arrogance in good.
Exactly. His life was his masterpiece, refined daily. So the question for you, do you know if you're improving or worsening each day? If there's room to improve, and there always is, that's great, an opportunity.
The command to advance is the same, success or failure.
It's a lifelong journey, continuous refinement. How much could you progress doing just a little each day throughout a lifetime? The Source offers that beautiful paradox. You're never satisfied with your progress, but you're always satisfied because you're progressing.
The joy is in the journey.
A testament to continuous discipline.
Now, how discipline, once mastered personally, extends outward, carrying the burden for others.
1998, General Krulak finds Brigadier General Jim Mattis on guard duty Christmas Day.
Mattis, a general, took the post himself, so a junior private could be with family. Choosing the unpleasant tasks of a private.
Models selfless leadership. It exemplifies a truth. Success doesn't exempt you from hard work. It means you will now also have to help others carry their burden.
Popovich took that fine, so players had longer careers.
Prioritizing their well-being, long-term success over optics. Harry Belafonte quietly paid for MLK's household staff. Not just kindness,
But a strategic measure to give King vital time, tranquility, protection.
King himself needed time to meditate and read, to spiritually and intellectually recharge. Admitted he gave without stopping to take. Self-care for service.
This also highlights the discipline of not doing everything yourself, especially with high standards.
Plutarch said centuries ago, a leader can't do everything. It becomes gluttony of punishment or gluttony of control, burning out on trivia, lacking energy for big moments.
Insecure people, tyrants, the selfish can't delegate.
Fear criticism, losing control, think no one else can do it as well. True discipline understands effective leadership means sharing the load.
So your willpower alone isn't enough for big goals.
If you want to build something larger than yourself, create a legacy, impact more than your sphere, you must share the load. Delegating gives time, space, freedom to think strategically, connect, appreciate.
Lets you be on time, use your hours effectively, govern your time instead of it governing you.
An act of disciplined trust and strategic self-management.
Okay, how personal discipline creates ripples, making others better, just by example.
Yeah, the source notes King George VI, overcoming stammer, wartime resilience, and Cato the Elder, by being strict with themselves.
Achieved the effect many leaders strict with followers fail to achieve. They made people better.
To fulfill your destiny, the source suggests, become a hero who inspires by being. Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius's adoptive father.
Great not just himself, but because his rigor was contagious. Inspired and shaped Marcus.
Exactly. Set him on the path. Disciplined people don't typically reprimand or lecture. They simply do their job. In their presence, others feel compelled to step up, witnessing what's possible through quiet effort.
Seneca's reflection.
Beautiful. Blessed is the man who can make others better, not only when in his company, but even when in his thoughts. The source admits even disciplined folks like Queen Elizabeth II, Marcus Aurelius, had errors with their kids' discipline.
But that doesn't diminish their personal example?
See, not at all. Your personal journey is a light. So your discipline starts within. Your choices, battles, wins. But if it's strong, it will be contagious. If not, is it really that strong?
Be an inspiring example.
Remember, you're on your demanding journey, others are on theirs. Different struggles, capacities. Don't judge, encourage, accept. The highest plane is when discipline is complemented by compassion, kindness, understanding, and love.
Not imposing your standard, but quietly embodying it.
Precisely.
Last section focuses on that subtle balance. Discipline yourself, but understanding towards others.
Crucial nuance. Cato the Younger, as strict as his great-grandfather, disregarded wealth, dressed plainly, slept on the ground with troops.
Yet, humble enough to tolerate his brother Sepian's love for luxury, never lectured him.
The core lesson. Forgive, forget, help them improve if they are receptive. Reality is, not everyone has your training, willpower, challenges. Any other attitude is unfair. It is also counterproductive, alienates people.
The Kobe Bryant example. The Nets lost out on him.
Because they booked him a cheap middle seat in economy. Thought they were disciplined, but lacked understanding. Cost them a legend. And Kobe himself struggled to accept teammates not being like Kobe.
Pushed them away, like Shaq. Cost him championships, arguably.
His rigor lacked that understanding for others. Sir Toby in Twelfth Night asks, do you think because you are virtuous, cakes and ale will cease to exist?
Good point.
The source advises, let them have their fun. Let them live and work as they please. You have enough to worry about with your own destiny, your own path.
Colin Powell hid sleeping in his office, so staff wouldn't feel compelled to match.
Lincoln never demanded perfection from others, understood flaws with compassion. The discipline is our destiny, the source states. The lifelong task of escaping your flaws, shaping yourself, is more than enough.
No one's perfect enough to spend much time criticizing others or forcing them.
And if everyone were like you, the world would be boring. The irony is, the more truly disciplined you become with yourself, the kinder you will be, the more willing to look the other way, with others' imperfections, understanding everyone's on their own journey.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear, isn't it? That the path of discipline is less about rigidity, harshness,
And far more about a profound, lifelong journey of active self-mastery, constantly striving for your best self.
What's truly fascinating is how the source stresses discipline isn't just a means to external success, power, fame, money.
It is ultimately the path to human flourishing, becoming the fullest, most capable, most intrinsically fulfilled version of yourself, not for applause, but for the inherent reward of a life well lived.
And what does that mean for you, listening right now? It's not some impossible, rigid mandate, not perfect virtue every second.
No, this source powerfully reminds us of Steinbeck's interpretation of Tim shall thou mayest. It means you can. You have the responsibility, the conscience, the capacity to choose your path, to rise.
Which raises the ultimate question. What do you choose? Dependence on impulse or radical independence? Ruin through indulgence or greatness through self-mastery?
The source is clear. Discipline is destiny. It's what decides. Not a choice made once, but 1,000 times in life. In every small action, reaction.
Not just past or future, but right now, today.
So will you commit to this daily, quiet battle against impulses, weaknesses, for your highest self? Will you embrace the torture and also heaven of consistent effort?
The patient waiting, the art of knowing when to lead, share the load, be silent.
This isn't just about hearing words, it's about living them. It's that beautiful irony again. Never fully satisfied with progress, always more to learn, yet always deeply content precisely because you're progressing.
That path, the source assures us, leads not just to success, but to a higher plane of consciousness, of being, and of excellence.
What will you decide?